I think a lot of us today, myself included, we're worried about martial ambition, we're worried about social division, and we're worried about ecological devastation and our role in it. These are all serious issues that artist Thomas Cole was also thinking through nearly 200 years ago, but that feel so pressing, so urgent, so relevant today. I'm Wendy Nālani E. Ikemoto, Senior Curator of American Art at the New York Historical Society. Let's explore one of our signature holdings, Thomas Cole's The Course of Empire. The Course of Empire was Thomas Cole's magnum opus. It's a grand series of 5 large-scale paintings that chart the course of an imaginative empire as it emerges in the midst of a forested landscape, clears space for the growth of culture, builds into this grand, opulent marble metropolis, implodes in chaos and violence, and finally falls to ruin as nature takes back over again. The setting for all 5 paintings is a valley set by a body of water and overlooked by a tall crag with a boulder set on top. Cole creates these points of comparison across the 5 paintings, and the changes between those points of comparison drive the narrative. Cole accomplishes something remarkable here, and that is to build time and action and movement into the static medium of painting. In the first scene, The Savage State, we see the mountain toward center pushing out of the mist. The palette is earthy, trees blanket the land. The orange glow of the sun at left marks the time as dawn and evokes the dawn of civilization. A hunter, who is dressed in animal skins and armed with a bow, chases after his prey. Behind him appear another group of hunters armed with bows and arrows, which point us rightward toward a small man-made clearing among the trees. This is the beginning of a settlement, which Cole himself referred to as the first rudiments of society. In the second scene, called the Arcadian or Pastoral State, we have panned to the right. The skies have cleared. It's no longer dawn, but mid-morning. And those first rudiments of society from the savage state have spread. Within that space, culture develops. We see the beginnings of art in the form of a man playing a lute for dancers and a boy drawing on a stone bridge. We see the beginnings of religion in the form of a temple in which a fire burns. And we see the beginnings of math in the form of a man drawing geometric forms in the dirt. For Cole, this is the ideal moment when humankind finds balance and harmony with nature. Within this idyllic scene, however, we also see signs of aggression. Notice the hewn tree stump. This was a signature motif of Cole's, and it symbolized what he called the ravages of the axe. In this case, the hewn tree stump recalls the lush, thriving wilderness and stately trees in the last scene, and it reminds us of the destruction that made this young civilization possible. We also see details which look forward to the paintings to come. Here, for example, is a soldier at arms about to cross the bridge. Behind the peaceful flock of sheep, there appear 2 rams butting heads. And in the background, we see what looks not like a fishing boat, but a warship, which points to plans for overseas exploration and conquest. That drive for power culminates in the Consummation of Empire, the central and physically largest, most dominant scene of the entire series. It is now midday. The bright noontime sun reflects off the gleaming white marble buildings of a now massive empire, which seems to overtake the land. Nature is now compressed down and shaped by this hand of humankind into potted plants and man-made boughs. and the natural stream that we saw in the first two scenes is redirected into an ornate, artificial water feature. Two gilt warriors form a militaristic triumphal arch under which passes a grand procession. The star of that procession is a red-cloaked emperor set aloft on a golden chariot pulled by an elephant. You'll notice that he's attended by African as well as white figures, pointing to the global reach of this now expanded empire. At this point, the series seems to chart a narrative of progress. But Cole did not design the Consummation of Empire to be the celebratory endpoint. This empire is about to fall. Notice an ominous detail in the foreground. We see two boys who seem to be at play, but they're actually at war. One of the boys is sinking the other boy's toy ship. That moves us into the utterly apocalyptic destruction. Nature has grown violent. A storm rages. The water is no longer smooth and placid, and the entire empire has erupted into violence. The bridge over which the emperor has crossed is now collapsing under the weight of battle. A sculpted warrior dominates the composition. People attack one another, and the fallen spew blood onto the once pristine white marble. The only point of stillness in this scene of chaos seems to be an old man who recalls the old man drawing geometrical forms in the dirt in the second scene. But instead of inventing, instead of creating, this man sits amid corpses. He sits amid death, facing backwards, perhaps reflecting on the mistakes of the past. Finally, the chaos and tumult of destruction resolve into desolation. This is the final scene of the series. It's now dusk, the moon has risen in the sky, and we see a landscape strewn with the ruins of that former empire. There's a poetic stillness here. We see the bridge over which the emperor once crossed, now sunken into the water. We see the remnants of the fountain, now reverted into a natural stream. Vines and foliage grow over what's left of the white marble structures. A lizard climbs up the lone column, and a heron makes its nest on top. Is this the end of civilization? Perhaps, but it also marks a new beginning. Notice how the last scene starts to resemble the first, suggesting that the path of history is not linear, but cyclical, that it doesn't just march forward, but loops back upon itself. There's another way to think of this series as well, and that is with nature as the protagonist. What if nature is the hero of this series? Perhaps that's the story that Cole wants us to take away. Perhaps it's not just about destruction and devastation, but also renewal. Perhaps it doesn't end with apocalypse, but looks forward toward a resurgent world.